Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Arsenal player will be allowed to leave if a suitable bid arrives in January. Emile Smith Rowe will reportedly be allowed to leave Arsenal should a suitable bid arrive for the midfielder in January. That's according to the Mirror, which also notes that Smith Rowe isn't actively transfer listed as things stand. Smith Rowe has endured a frustrating 18 months at Arsenal as he's fallen down the pecking order under Mikel Arteta. The Highland Academy product was a key man in the 21-22 campaign, netting 10 times in the Premier League, but he found starts hard to come by since the beginning of last season. The 23-year-old's progress has been hampered slightly by injuries, but even when available, Arteta has rarely picked Smith Rowe in the league, and it seems the midfielder could be available at the right price this month. The Mirror claims that Smith Rowe could leave Arsenal at the right price, yet the outlet also notes there has been little interest in the midfielder as of yet, and he hasn't been put up for sale by Arsenal. As for Nketiah, Crystal Palace are keen, but he isn't actively for sale either, and it would take a sizable offer to tempt the Gunners into selling him. Arsenal's struggles up front have been well documented in recent weeks, with Arteta's man slipping down the fourth in the table after leading the way on Christmas. But the Gunners are in a difficult position where they will need to offload players to make any significant moves this month. Smith Rowe is a player who has stagnated over the past 18 months due to a lack of playing time. He is previously been labelled a phenomenal talent, but he is at risk of not reaching his brilliant potential should he continue to warm the bench. It would be a real shame to see Smith Rowe leave Arsenal, given the promise he showed after breaking into the side. Arsenal are briefing that they would consider selling their fantastic player for £35 million. Nketiah's long-term future at Arsenal is being called into question. There is a huge expectation at the Emirates that a new striker may soon arrive in North London, and any new addition would likely push Nketiah further down the pecking order. The striker could probably do with a move, and speaking on the Done Deal show, Ben Jacobs has shared some insight into a potential departure for the striker. Jacobs says that Arsenal are being relatively transparent with their valuation of Nketiah, openly telling teams that they take something in the region of £35 million for the 24-year-old. Jacobs shared what he knows about the fantastic striker. He said, "Nothing really for Arsenal, and I don't think that would change unless anyone leaves. Nketiah is still part of Arsenal's plans, despite the fact that Crystal Palace and a few other clubs are looking. The valuation of Nketiah is relatively transparent, talking to sources, something in the region of £35 million, but it's not just about money." From the outside looking in, it does feel as though £35 million for Nketiah would represent a really good deal. He is proven himself at this level, showing that he can hold his own at one of the Premier League's biggest clubs, while he is also an England international now too. The fact that Arsenal received a similar fee for Arin in the summer when he hadn't even scored a Premier League goal just goes to show how good of a deal this could be. One of the mid-table clubs in the Premier League should really take a punt on Nketiah at this price, and we wouldn't be shocked to see some movement on this front over the next few weeks or months. £34 million Arsenal player now spotted back in first team training after injury. With Arteta's men now enjoying a warm weather training camp in Dubai, some good news has surfaced. Arsenal shared a selection of photos from training which showed Fabio Vieira back with the squad following his recent groin surgery. £34 million Vieira was operated on in November and was expected to be back towards the end of this month. And right on cue, it seems as if the Portuguese midfielder is now ready to contribute again. Moreover, given there is still a fair bit of time until Arteta's Arsenal side welcome Crystal Palace to the Emirates, Vieira could have a good chance of featuring. Fabio Vieira is yet to really have the desired impact since signing for the club in the summer of 2022. Despite his strong cameos, Vieira hasn't really shown much consistency in his performances. However, in an era in which almost every Arsenal player has been suggested as a sellable asset, in wake of the club buying a striker, Vieira's name has been rarely been mentioned. Perhaps that has been because of his injury, but also because many feel that there is more to come. Vieira has had good chances under Arteta in the past, but has failed to show his true potential for Arsenal just yet. But with Arsenal now desperate to get their forward players firing, there is really no better creator in the squad. Martin Odegaard could rebut that statement, however, it's a compliment to Vieira's ability rather than the captain's shortcomings. Perhaps Arteta will now try and deploy the duo in the same team as he looks to get Arsenal's season back on a track. £39 million striker would be keen to move to the Premier League after claims Arsenal are interested. Borja Mayoral is keen on a move to the Premier League amid interest from Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. That's according to journalist Dean Jones, who has named two other clubs in the Premier League that have been keen on the Getafe striker. So, what has been reported about Arsenal and Borja Mayoral? Let's take a look. Well, Arsenal have been linked with Borja Mayoral. The Gunners are on the hunt for a new striker in the January transfer window, and according to The Sun, one of the players they are now looking at signing is Mayoral. The Sun reported this week that Arsenal have already made a bid of £22 million for the former Real Madrid striker. However, Getafe have turned it down. The La Liga club are looking for £39 million for the 26-year-old. Journalist Dean Jones has now reported in Sportsland that sources have indicated that Mayoral would be interested in the prospect of moving to England. The report has noted that Fulham and Crystal Palace have previously scouted the striker, who has been linked to Shevchenko. In my view, if Getafe insists on a £39 million transfer fee for Borja Mayoral, then Arsenal should not pay it. I do not think that the 26-year-old has done enough to merit such a transfer fee. Yes, the Spaniard has scored 12 goals and given 1 assist in 18 La Liga starts this season, but in the last campaign, he found the back of the net 8 times and provided 2 assists in 33 league starts. I understand that Mayoral is playing for a modest team such as Getafe, and it's not easy to score for them as it would be for the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona, but for £39 million, Arsenal could get someone better. Arsenal would join a bidding war for a 22-year-old player. Michael Olise is undoubtedly one of the most talented young players in the Premier League, and Arsenal are said to be keen. Indeed, it's said that the Gunners would join a bidding war for the 22-year-old. The Crystal Palace midfielder is a joy to watch when he is at his best, and he's been showcasing his talent at the top level more and more in recent weeks. As you can imagine, his recent performances for Palace have garnered attention from some of the top teams in the Premier League. Manchester United have been strongly linked, while according to Dean Jones, speaking on the Ranks FC podcast, there are a number of other Premier League clubs, including Arsenal, who could get involved if a bidding war started. Jones shared what he knows about this player. He said, "When they are weighing up options, Michael Olise is someone they do really like in this position. Obviously, if it comes to a time where there is a bidding war for Michael Olise, then you will have Man City, Chelsea and Arsenal all involved because that's how good he is. Those are the clubs who like him. Liverpool haven't gone down that path yet, but why not Liverpool as well if they need to move on from Salah?" Crystal Palace won't be in any rush to sell Olise after he signed a new contract this summer, but if he is to leave, he could cost an absolute fortune. Indeed, any bidding war that involves Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea and Man City is bound to be ridiculous, and Palace could be in line for a huge windfall if Olise is to go to one of those clubs. Of course, whether or not any of these teams do make a movement remains to be seen, but it sounds as though there is indeed a lot of interest in Olis at the moment. Arsenal now want to sign 6 feet and 4 inches striker. Arsenal are now interested in signing Bologna striker Joshua Zirkzee. The Gunners are really struggling for goals up front. Arsenal need someone to get them over the line in attack, and the Telegraph claims Zirkzee is being eyed by Mikel Arteta now. We are 12 days into the January transfer window, and Arsenal haven't really lifted a finger yet. The Gunners could do with reinforcement in multiple areas of the pitch, but if you go and ask most Arsenal fans, they will tell you that a new striker should be the priority. Even Tony has been heavily linked over the last few months, as has Victor Osimhen. However, both of them will be extremely expensive in this window, which is probably why the Gunners are looking elsewhere. The Telegraph claim that Arsenal are now eyeing a move to sign Joshua Zirkzee of Bologna. The 22-year-old is having a fine season in Italy, having scored 8 goals and provided 4 assists in 22 appearances so far. The Dutchman, who stands 6 feet and 4 inches tall, would offer something different to Arsenal's attack, but the report claims that a move is complicated as Bologna want a fee in the region of £50 million. It's unclear if Arsenal would be able to make such an investment in this window. David Ornstein now reacts with 4 words after he claims Arsenal want to sign Amadou Onana. Arsenal have been linked with a move to sign Amadou Onana from Everton this month, and David Ornstein has had his say on the rumours. The Gunners are yet to lift a finger in this window. Fans have been urging them to sign a player or two, and among the names heavily linked with a move to Arsenal is the talented Onana of Everton. Everton signed Amadou Onana from Lille for a fee of £33 million in 2022. Arsenal were said to be very keen to sign the midfielder before he moved to Goodison Park, but no move materialized at the time. The Gunners' interest in the 22-year-old is apparently still very strong. Journalist Sasha Tavolieri claimed recently that Mikel Arteta's side are in talks with Everton to sign Onana this month. What further fueled the rumours was that his agent was spotted in London this week. David Ornstein was asked about Onana and Arsenal in his Q&A on The Athletic yesterday, and the journalist made one thing clear: there is nothing going on between the two clubs right now. Using just 4 words to answer the question, he said, "No talks between clubs." It's very unlikely that Arsenal will be able to afford Amadou Onana this month due to FFP regulations. However, Gunners fans can dream, can't they? One of the big reasons why Mikel Arteta's side haven't been as fluid as last season is the absence of Thomas Partey in the middle of the park. Injuries have really troubled the Ghana international, which is why he has been linked with a move away. Onana, who is still only 22, would be an unbelievable replacement for Partey, both in the short term and for years to come. He is big, strong, good on the ball, and as he has shown at Everton over the last 18 months, he is not afraid to go toe-to-toe with the best in the Premier League. If there is some way Arsenal can sign Onana this month, we are convinced that will boost their chances of winning the title this season. Arsenal plotting a player plus cash bid to sign a striker who is one of the best of his generation. Arsenal have been linked with Dusan Vlahovic for a long time, and speculation are once again doing the rounds this month. For instance, Sky Sports' Gary Cotterill told the Arsenal Beat podcast earlier in January that the Gunners remain keen on the Juventus forward. He also said the Bianconeri would listen to a cash plus player offer for the £50 million player man, and there are also these tax rules in Italy, which is something for them to consider. Now, Italian outlet TV Play has named an Arsenal player who could potentially be included as part of any deal to take Vlahovic to N5, namely Charlie Patino. The outlet states that the Gunners, and in particular manager Mikel Arteta, have never hidden their respect for Vlahovic. Arsenal, who reportedly tried to sign the 23-year-old before he joined Juve 2 years ago, could make another attempt this month. The report claims there is a very concrete hypothesis on the table for the Gunners to make an approach for Vlahovic. Arsenal would apparently not only propose a rich cash settlement, but also the surprising inclusion of Patino, who is currently on loan at Swansea City. Vlahovic would no doubt be an outstanding acquisition for Arsenal. The Serbia international was also described as an extraordinary player by former Juventus teammate Federico Bernardeschi. When he was at Fiorentina, the 23-year-old made a name for himself as one of the very best young strikers in the world, and while Vlahovic hasn't hit those same heights at Juve, he's still doing well for himself. Perhaps a chance of salary might help. At the same time, would Arsenal be willing to part company with Patino, one of the best players out of Hale End in recent years? The Gunners clearly rate Patino highly, considering he is shining on loan at a championship club. The next step tends to be the parent club's first team. He is progressing nicely, and you'd like to think the Gunners would want him to stick around. Nonetheless, Vlahovic is certainly a player Arsenal could do with, and it doesn't look as though he is indispensable at Juve. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.